Good morning, Amber, Jade and Indigo. Welcome to our third reading lesson. Today the LI is to write an information text in the past tense. We will talk about the past tense in a moment. So first of all, let's make sure that you're ready to go and we can start the lesson right now. So be prepared with your pencil or pen and paper. Use the pause button if you need to. So the steps to the lesson are phonics first, second spelling, third we will talk about what is past tense, and last of all, fourth, past tense task. So let's go to the sound of the week. Remember it's ew, ew, and we have the graphemes OO, EW and the split digraph UE. And our words are tooth, food, mood. So say it again, tooth, food, mood. And the second group of words, few, chew and grew. Few, chew and grew. And the digraph words, huge, include, rude. Huge, include, rude. Let's move to the next slide. So we have a new word today in the OO group. We have tooth, food, root and zoom. So the two new words in this group are root and zoom. And in the second group we have a new word today, it's through. So it's few, chew, through. And in the last group we have a new word today, it's rule. So we have huge with the split digraph, G in the middle of U and E, include with D in the middle of U and E, and rule with L in the middle of U and E. So let's run through our words one more time, all using the U sound. Tooth, food, root, zoom, few, chew, through, huge, include, rule. So sound of the week once again, tooth, food, root, zoom, few, chew, through, and last of all, huge, include, rule. And your spelling words for this week. Have you been practicing? Can you spell these without looking at the list? So we have tooth, T-O-O-T-H. Food, F-O-O-D. Chew, C-H-E-W. Grew, G-R-E-W. Huge, H-U-G-E, with the split digraph. And last of all, include, I-N-C-L-U-D-E. And of course we have number 7, was, W-A-S, and number 8, the, T-H-E. These words should be all familiar to you. So keep practicing. We will have a test on Friday. So let's go to the next step. So what is past tense? You've watched the video for the last 2 days and it was about Nessie. When did people see Nessie? Well, St. Columba saw Nessie in the 6th century and that was in the past. It's a long, long time ago. And this couple saw Nessie crossing the road, apparently, don't know how true it is, in 1933, which is a long time ago. And this doctor took a photograph of Nessie, which turned out to be a fake. And he took it in 1934, which was a long time ago. So it all happened in the past. Not today. It could be yesterday or the day before. It could have been 1 week ago, a year ago, or years ago. So in the past is a time that's already happened. Doesn't necessarily have to be a long time ago. It could be 1 minute ago. That would be in the past. So what are we going to do a recap on? So first of all, we need to recap nouns and adjectives. If you remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So for instance, nose, pinch, or hand, or bird, teeth, or claws are all nouns. They are naming words. Could be a person, could be a place, or a thing. An adjective describes a word. So we sometimes say an adjective is a describing word. So we can describe this person's nose. Their nose is long. So we can therefore say long nose. We could say things like white teeth, or large wings, sharp claws. There is a new word that we're going to start using today, and that's called a verb. And they're called regular verbs. And a verb is an action word or doing word. So you can see the pictures, what action is taking place, or what are they doing. So in the first picture we have walk, talk, hunt, throw, and we have catch. So you can walk to school, you can talk to your friend. Cavemen used to hunt wild animals. You can throw a ball to a friend or a team member, and you can catch the ball that someone throws to you. So they are all action or doing words. Why do we need to know these? They will help us with the past tense. So first of all, we're going to do this activity. And if we have a verb like walk, we can add ed to it. And it changes from walk to walked. And we have kick. You can kick a ball, or you could say I kicked the ball. If you add ed to the word kick, it becomes the past tense. You can hunt a wild animal, which is doing it right now, or if you say I hunted the wild animal, it means that you did it in the past. Not now. Could have been yesterday, or the day before, or a week ago. It's in the past. So kick, if you add ed, change to kicked, which means it happened in the past. I kicked the ball in the football match yesterday. I hunted the wild animals last week. So it happened in the past. Are there any other ed ones that we could have? So you could have I walked to school, and then change that to past tense and say I walked to school. And you could also have I talked to my friend, which means it's happening right now in the present tense. Or if you say I talked to my friend, it means that it's happened in the past. So talked is in the past tense, and so is walked. Let's have a look at another rule. If the verb ends in e, you just add ed. Let's have a look at what that looks like. So here we have save. I save money And then if I add it to past tense, make it a past tense word, I can put D at the end because it ends in an E. So I put a D at the end and becomes saved. I saved money. And the second example, live ends in E. If I put a D at the end, it becomes lived. And that's the past tense. So I could say, I live in London. And then maybe if I moved away, I could say to someone, I lived in London, which means it's in the past. So let's have a look. What does this look like in a sentence? If it's in the present tense, I would write, I walked to the park. And if I change it to the past tense, I'll add ed to walk, because walk is the verb, and I can then create the sentence, I walked to the park, which means it's happened in the past. Maybe you walked to the park this morning. Maybe you walked to the park before breakfast. But it happened in the past. I hunt for a beetle. That's happening in the present tense. And if I add ed to hunt, it changes to hunted. So we can then have the sentence, I hunted for a beetle, which tells me and the reader it happened in the past. Right, we can have, I live in Harrow. Well, what happens if you don't live in Harrow anymore? We can then change the sentence to the past tense and then write, I lived in Harrow. And all I need to do is add the D at the end of the word. So I lived in Harrow, which is in the past tense. So here's your first task. You have to add ed or just add D. So you have to remember the rule. If it ends in an E, all you need to do is add D. You don't have to add ed. So let's have a look at the words. So you need to add ed or just add a D. This is your first task. So walk changes to walked. What do you add to the word walk? Do you add ed or do you just add D? We have the second word, it's live. And I want to change it to lived. Do you add ed or just a D? Do you remember the spelling rule? I've got cross and I want to change it to crossed so it becomes in the past tense. If I have save, I want to change it to saved. What do? Do you add ed or just D? So think about the rule. You might need to go back and check it. Want will change to wanted. What do I add at the end of want, which is my verb? And I have talk will change to talked. What do you add to the end of talk? Ed or just a D? And last of all, look will change to looked, which will be in the past tense. I looked for the ball. I talked to my friend. I wanted some cake. I saved my money. I crossed the road. I lived in London. I walked to the park. So let's now put this into practice and use sentences. So what do we have? I walk by the lake. So that needs now to change to the past tense, and you would write I walked by the lake. So this is task number 2 for you. I walked by the lake. Can you write that sentence? The next sentence that you would need to write, you want to change it to past tense. I live by the lake. These words are underlined because they are the verbs. Remember, add ed or just add d. Which one is it going to be? So sentence number 2, you need to write, I lived by the lake. Sentence number 3, I crossed the road. If we want to change that to past tense, we need to write, I crossed the road. Can you write, I crossed the road? I save Nessie becomes, if we want it in the past tense, I saved Nessie. So do you add ed or d? I want to see Nessie will then change, so it's in the past tense, I wanted to see Nessie. We talked about Loch Ness. Remember, Loch Ness is the lake in Scotland where Nessie is it was seen by some people. So we need to change that sentence to, we talked about Loch Ness. And last of all, they look at the monster, which we change to, so it's in the past tense, I looked at the monster. So can you write those sentences as your second task? And that will really be the end of what you need to do today. But before we stop, we're just going to run through this information text. Tomorrow, we'll be using your pictures, or the ones that I have, to create an information text. Remember, it gives you information or knowledge about something. So here's some sentences I've started. And if you have time, you could fill in the spaces that have been left blank. So I'm going to read this information text. In Scotland, I've missed off the word land. In Scotland, there is a lake called Loch Ness. Many years ago, some people thought a monster lived in the lake. Since then, people have looked for the monster called Nessie. Do you think you can fill in the missing words or letters at the end of the ones that have those dots after them? I'll read it one more time. In Scotland, I've only written Scot, you need to write land. In Scotland, there is a lake called Loch Ness. If you're struggling to think about Ness, look at the title above, an information text about Nessie. Can you hear the word Ness at the beginning of Nessie? So which 3 letters do you write at the end? Many years ago, some people thought a monster lived in the lake. Do you remember we've practiced adding d or ed to words? So lived in the lake, and lake is from the group of words, and it's been used in the video, and I've used it a lot as well, talking to you. So lived in the lake. Since then, people have looked for the monster called Nessie. If you have time, it'd be great if you could fill in the missing words or letters to finish off this information text. So I've done the first part of the information text with you. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be looking once again at those dates for this information text, because we're going to start writing information down about Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. So we'll be using all of this tomorrow. So when you've completed your work and you've spent enough time, please send your work or email your work to yr3@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Thank you very much. Have an enjoyable day. Look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Bye for now.